SK. Can't wait to see what he thinks about the Browns' lack of decision here. He was all set and fired up. I saw him tweeting it out yesterday. I've got a lot to say about the permutations of the Browns quarterback change. Well, let's see what he thinks. We'll talk about it with Kendall Lewis, the BSK, tomorrow. Try to get a opinion from him on one side or the other on the quarterback. Let's see if we can nail that down. Looking forward as well to being joined by BJ Riddell, Fantasy Football for Winners. It's in the home stretch, baby. Championship week. A lot of people clinching playoff spots this week as next week playoffs begin for most people's traditionally scored leagues. Looking forward to having BJ Riddell with us, and most of all, looking forward to, for the first time, our guest. Honored to have him, Tom Hamilton, the voice of the Cleveland Indians. Hammy will be live on the Sports Fix tomorrow to talk about all things Indians, and primarily his new book that him and Terry Pluto put together, Glory Days in Tribe Town. You've heard us talk about it here on the show. The Cleveland Indians in Jacobs Field, 1994 to 1997. Not only are we going to talk to Tom Hamilton about this tomorrow live on the show, but we're going to give you a chance to win a copy right here tomorrow as well for your collection. Glory Days in Tribe Town. We're going to relive it live with Tom Hamilton, the voice of the Indians, and then give you a chance to put that in your stocking or perhaps give that to somebody you know, the Tribe. It is the perfect Christmas gift this year for the Tribe fan out there. Much like Vince McKee's Cleveland Cavaliers, History of the Wine and Gold is for Cavs fans. Did you guys get a chance to see what the Cavs did for Vince over the weekend? They not only, I knew about the deal that he had made with Dan Gilbert. Dan Gilbert sat down with Vince about 2 months ago or so, and was really impressed with the book and the work that went into it. They went all out yesterday. Got to give the Cavs credit, over the weekend. Got to give the Cavs credit. If you don't, go follow Vince McKee on Facebook and Twitter, Vince the Author on Twitter, and definitely follow along. He posted a lot of the pictures from over the weekend. They not only interviewed him during the broadcast, they not only promoted him in the house on the Jumbo Bumbo Humongotron, but they posted Instagram. I think his one Instagram photo of his book was at like 7,000 likes and counting after a couple of days. He told me his weekend sales alone shattered every book he's ever written. Just what he did over the weekend alone because of that boost. But you should have seen the photos of his line out the door at the queue. He couldn't sign books fast enough. Awesome stuff. Always cool to see good things happen to good people. Vince McKee, Vince the Author, is one of those people, but really cool of the Cavs as well, because I'll tell you, I've seen all the teams and how they react. You know, Browns, they wouldn't even know anybody wrote a book about them. You got to know somebody who likes somebody to get any cooperation from them on stuff like that. The Indians, they've gone above and beyond. They put Vince's Jacobs Field book in the team shop and all of that, but the Cavs truly take the cake as far as this one here. They went to town, really overboard with the promotion this weekend, and good stuff. Couldn't happen to a better guy than my buddy Vince the Author. By the way, probably going to have a chance for you to win one of those closer to Christmas time here as well. A copy of some of his great books. Looking forward to bringing some of that to you guys. But yeah, tomorrow, big day coming up. And speaking of the Cavs, not just to put over Vince McKee and his books, but last night, Cavaliers, Milwaukee. Man, I'll tell you, that Milwaukee team, we mentioned it yesterday on the show, you know, they won 15 games all of last year. They've won 10 already here in the early part of this season. They came into last night's game with a better record than the Cavs. Neither team plays defense. I will tell you, last night, I'm saying neither team played defense for 3/4 of the game. And that's what's going to make what I'm about to say funny. Defense is why the Cavs won that game last night. Now, take that with a grain of salt. The 5 minutes of defense that they did play won that game for the Cavs last night. I was watching the game with a couple of friends, and as we were watching the final quarter play itself out, because the Cavs, I mean, they were up and down. 1 minute in the third quarter, after pulling early and then letting Milwaukee come all the way back because they slipped back into some bad habits. Then at one point, it's a 1-point game. And I'll never forget, 2 seconds later, the Cavs are down 11 again. And we're like, what in the world just happened here? And then Mike Miller comes in the game. And then the Cavaliers decide to play defense. Literally, I just got done. I was talking to the guys in the room about how I've been pointing out Kyrie's better defense, and tonight he's making me look bad because he's olaying guys to the hoop, and he had just got done letting Brandon Knight was attacking all night, and those two cats always go back and forth when they meet each other, Knight and Kyrie Irving, but he had just attacked Kyrie down the one end, and I said, man, there was no weak side help coming back to help him, and I said, man, Kyrie, just when I start talking about your defense, you decide not to play defense tonight. And no sooner does that happen, Mike Miller checks in the game. Cavs are down, I believe it's 11. Don't quote me on that, but I believe it was 10 or 11 points at that point. And they, all of a sudden, within a 2-minute window, they tip a pass, steal it. Kyrie leads the break himself, gets the and one on the other end. Mike Miller hits a three-pointer. Another steal and another and one by Kyrie Irving. Boom, boom, boom. A block by Anderson Varejao. A second block by Varejao. Rebound by Love. Fast outbreak. And then Kyrie got it. And I'll tell you what, for as much grief as he gets from times, he put on one of the most beautiful basketball moves. The entire queue stood up and just applauded. If you guys remember, when they were making that run, he comes down the court, he's on the right wing by himself, and he does one of those, it was a playground move. He stutter steps the guy, then he cuts through to the hole and just made an absolutely twisting layup there with the and one, and it was beautiful play. But I was joking with the guys in the room. I said, man, I'm going to go on the air tomorrow, and I'm going to tell people the Cavs played no defense tonight, but defense is the reason that they won this game, because neither team played defense. But that 5-minute window where the Cavs actually decided to play defense, that's what won them the game last night. No doubt about it. You could see it. They fired off of that. Mike Miller, too. That's the first time that Mike Miller has really shown anything yet in his early run with the Cavs. He came off the bench, hit a couple of threes, actually gave them a bit of a spark. And LeBron didn't come out until late. LeBron was really having a poor game offensively up until the end. He got a lot of foul shots in the fourth quarter, but he still ended up with a double-double. Kyrie and Kevin Love both got to go, and Kevin Love has really been rolling here lately, and we saw some of that again here in that game last night. Kevin Love starting to get comfortable, and he talked this morning. We were mentioning that earlier with Mike Brandenberry. He just spoke this morning about how he said, look, if I could officially make myself a member of the Cavaliers for the near future, I would. That's the only reason that I'm not locked in long term. Cleveland needs to relax. I'm here, and I'm going to be here for a while. If I could just sign it today, I would. That's got to get people to relax. And then think back a couple weeks ago to the ridiculous story that we talked about on here about how 3 games into his time, he's counting the days until he can run to L.A. He personally completely discredited that. Now, I do believe that sometimes guys are disingenuous, but they usually don't put their name behind it. They'll use a lot of player speak and a lot of generalizations, but there's not a whole lot of generalization to I'm in Cleveland for a long time to come. If I could sign the contract today, I would. It's simply a matter of semantics that I can't sign the contract until later, but I'm here for a long time to come. You can't commit any more than that. But he's really gotten more comfortable in this offense here. I think he was 4 of 7 last night for 3 as well. But and in Kyrie Irving, offensively, continuing to learn his place in this offense while playing, again, the defense that I was sticking up for you. But, again, at the same time, none of them were playing defense last night until, like I said, that 5-7 minute run. And that's what won them the game. Man, you guys, if you're really watching the games from week to week, tell me that you don't see what I keep saying every day. This team would dominate this league if they committed to defending like they can. Because when they do play defense, I'm talking about that lights-out, athletic, Miami Heat style defense like we saw those guys play the last couple of years. They're unbeatable or very, very close to it. This team, that's where they're going to win or lose, man. How good can you turn Kevin Love into a defender? How good of a defender can you turn Kyrie Irving into? That's it. That team figures that out. brother, game over. Because when they defend, they get out there, and that's when you see the lethal aspects of what they can do. When they don't, they're terrible. They're as bad as any bad team in the league. They can just score points with the bad. And even then they can't. Because when they're bad on defense, then they don't, I don't know why, but their defensive chemistry makes them play better. Obviously, defense feeds offense and it feeds the fast breaks, but it also gets them in that rhythm. They get that chemistry. They're like a chemistry set. When it's all right, man, it's so beautiful. And then when it gets off, they're just off. And there was even some times last night offensively. I saw a couple of times these learning things where Kyrie passed or LeBron passed it to a place where Kyrie wasn't, but thought that he was. Different things like that. But none of that matters when these cats play defense and rebound, and they'll figure that out. They've got to be figuring that out. This 4-game winning streak now, the second one of those this season. They followed it up with a 4-game losing streak. Do you do that again? Or are they starting to learn the lessons of winning? Are they starting to stick? They've got a 3-game road trip here coming up that's going to tell us some of that. We'll find out. We'll talk more about that and all kinds of things tomorrow. Guys, we got to get out of here because we're getting ready for tomorrow. Tom Hamilton, voice of the Indians, joins us live right here on the Sports Fix tomorrow. Plus, the BSK, Kendall Lewis, is here. We've got BJ Riddell, Fantasy Football for Winners, you, and so much more live. Same bat time, same bat channel, new, right here on the Sports Fix Radio Network. We love you, Cleveland and beyond, all around the world. Have a good night tonight. Come on back here and talk to us tomorrow, live, noon, here on the Sports Fix.
Yeah.